The crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow across the ballroom as Margaret stood frozen near the entrance. Her simple mint green dress felt suddenly inadequate among the evening gowns surrounding her. At 58, she had learned to be invisible at these corporate events. But tonight was different. Tonight, her ex-husband Richard was here with his new wife. Margaret's hands trembled slightly as she clutched her small purse. She had worked so hard to rebuild her life after the divorce 5 years ago. The modest job as an event coordinator had brought her here to this charity gala hosted by Harrison Industries. She never imagined Richard would attend. Margaret. His voice cut through her thoughts. Richard approached with that familiar smirk, his new wife draped on his arm like an expensive accessory. Still working these events, I see. Some things never change. The words stung more than they should have. Margaret opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Richard, leave her alone, his wife whispered, though not quietly enough. I'm just saying hello to my ex-wife, Richard said louder. You remember Margaret, don't you? The woman who couldn't give me the life I deserved. Margaret felt the eyes of nearby guests turning toward them. Heat crept up her neck. After 5 years of healing, 5 years of learning to value herself again, she was right back in that small, powerless place. Then a warm hand gently touched her lower back. There you are. Darling. The voice was deep, calm, reassuring. I've been looking everywhere for you. Margaret turned to find herself face to face with James Harrison, the CEO himself. She had seen his photo in the company newsletters, but in person he was even more striking. Perhaps in his early 60s, with silver threading through his dark hair and kind eyes that seemed to understand everything without words. Her confusion must have shown on her face because James smiled softly and leaned closer, his voice a whisper meant only for her. Play along. Trust me. Oh, Margaret stammered. James squeezed her hand gently, then turned to Richard with the easy confidence of a man who had nothing to prove. You must be Richard. Margaret has mentioned you. Richard's smirk faltered. You know Margaret? Know her? James's laugh was warm and genuine. She's been the highlight of my year. I apologize for keeping her so busy. Margaret has this remarkable gift for making everyone feel valued. It's quite rare. Margaret stood speechless as James continued, his hand never leaving the small of her back, steady and grounding. In fact, James said, we were just about to have dinner. Margaret, shall we? She nodded, not trusting her voice. As they walked away, James leaned down and whispered, keep breathing. You're doing beautifully. He guided her to a quiet corner of the ballroom, near the tall windows overlooking the garden. The city lights twinkled in the distance like earthbound stars. I'm so sorry, Margaret finally managed. You didn't have to do that. Actually, I did. James's expression was gentle. I watched that entire exchange. No one should be treated that way, especially not at an event I'm hosting. But you're the CEO. You have so many important guests. And you're one of them. James signaled a waiter, who brought 2 glasses of sparkling water. Margaret, isn't it? I've seen your work. The attention to detail, the way you remember everyone's names. Last month's fundraiser ran flawlessly because of you. Tears threatened, and Margaret blinked them back. You noticed? Of course I noticed. James handed her the glass, his fingers brushing hers briefly. My late wife taught me that kindness is never small. Every person matters. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the other guests. Margaret felt her heartbeat slowly returning to normal. Was he always like that? James asked quietly. No. Or maybe yes, and I just didn't see it. Margaret sipped her water. The divorce was difficult. He said I wasn't ambitious enough, wasn't exciting enough, wasn't enough. He was wrong. The certainty in James's voice made her look up. Margaret, in my 63 years I've learned that true worth isn't measured by ambition or excitement. It's measured by how we treat others when no one's watching, by the small kindnesses we extend without expectation of return. Your wife sounds like she was a wonderful woman. She was. A soft smile crossed James's face. Eleanor passed 3 years ago. Cancer. She spent her last months teaching me to slow down, to notice the beauty in ordinary moments, to appreciate people like you who make the world gentler. Margaret felt something shift in her chest. Not the flutter of romance, but something deeper, recognition, understanding. I miss having someone to talk to, she admitted. Real conversation, you know, not just pleasantries. I know exactly what you mean. James looked at her thoughtfully. Would you like to have dinner with me? A real dinner, not this gala. Somewhere we can actually talk. You mean it? I never say things I don't mean. His smile reached his eyes. Consider it a thank you for your excellent work, and perhaps the beginning of a friendship. Margaret felt tears again, but this time they were different. These were tears of recognition, of being seen. I'd like that very much. Across the room, Richard was staring at them. For the first time in 5 years, Margaret didn't care what he thought. She had spent so long believing his version of her worth, but standing here with James, being treated with simple human respect, she remembered something she had forgotten. She was enough. She had always been enough. You know, James said, following her gaze, the best response to small people isn't anger. It's living well, being happy, surrounding yourself with kindness. Is that what you do? Every day I can. James raised his glass slightly. To new friendships and second chapters, Margaret clinked her glass against his. To second chapters. As the evening wore on, they talked about books and gardens, about the difficulty of starting over and the courage it takes to be gentle in a harsh world. James made her laugh with stories about his grandchildren. Margaret shared her dream of opening a small flower shop someday. When the gala ended, James walked her to her car. Same time next week? He asked. There's a little Italian place downtown. Nothing fancy, but the owner is a friend, and the conversation never runs dry. I'd love that. Margaret drove home slowly, savoring the evening. At home, she made herself a cup of tea and sat by the window, watching the moon rise over the quiet neighborhood. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Thank you for a lovely evening. Looking forward to next week. James. She smiled and typed back, thank you for the kindness. You'll never know how much it meant. His response came quickly. Thank you for reminding me that good people still exist in this world. Sleep well, Margaret. As she prepared for bed, Margaret looked at herself in the mirror. The same face she'd seen for 58 years looked back. But tonight something was different. Tonight she saw a woman worthy of respect. A woman capable of friendship. A woman enough, exactly as she was. Sometimes kindness arrives when we need it most. Sometimes a gentle hand appears at exactly the right moment. And sometimes being seen for who we truly are is the greatest gift of all. Margaret turned off the light, her heart full of quiet hope. Tomorrow was a new day, and now it held the promise of friendship, respect, and the gentle reminder that life's best chapters can begin at any age.